right now. I gave her an extra link just in case.
Okay, so talk about your concern really slowly.
Okay. Are we recording our already in this, or?
It's live.
On the site right now. I can't hear anybody.
Hey, Derek, could you maybe mute your stuff? It sounds like Godzilla's on your end. Right now. I gave her an extra link just in case.
But it's someone else.
Okay, so talk about your concern really slowly.
That's me.
Are we recording our this, or?
Yeah, it's live. It's being recorded.
On the site right now. I can't hear anybody.
Hey, Derek, could you maybe mute your stuff? It sounds like Godzilla's on your end.
Is somebody watching the live stream?
Yeah, that's bizarre.
That's what it is. Because I hear feedback of my own voice coming through.
Exactly. But it's just a few seconds ago.
All right.
I think it was me. I think it was the live stream. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It could have been me, because I think I might have had it up too.
Okay.
That's pretty funny. You know, you guys are technology. You don't actually need to watch it.
Is somebody watching the live stream?
Yeah.
Someone else is watching.
Yeah, that's
We're
bizarre.
watching the live stream.
That's what it is.
You want me to shut the live off?
No, just make sure it's not playing.
It's not playing on mine.
Yeah, we don't want it playing.
I do still hear Godzilla. I feel like somebody's going to get ripped out of the frame in seconds. So that's pretty funny. Okay, so we're talking about, if I can recall what we're talking about, you were talking, Lori, right, about your concerns about how specific we need to be for our target.
Yes. That's, we're shooting for a younger target market than what normally Mercedes goes for, and I just want to know if we need to, I saw that we need to be semi-specific, but I'm not sure exactly how specific we need to be. Do we need to be thinking about doing what we've just done with the week 2 discussion 1? Do we need to be doing those sort of things with what?
Yes. Yep, that's definitely a part of it. When you're talking about looking at your target segment, you're talking about understanding who they are at a pretty intimate level. Mm-hmm. Where they live, what they drive, how many kids do they have, what kind of education do they have, and that kind of information is available. It's in Claritas. You can get that sort of superficial information to make sure it lines up with your product, and that's. I think you will find that you'll get more answers to that in the week 3 DQ. When you look at the competitive perception, the value perception diagram, which will tell you, which will add to what you've already done in week 2, it will add this extra layer, which is where does the product fit within the line of other cars, right? Is it the high value, meaning you get high quality, low price, or is it a prestige pricing kind of a thing? And you want to, when you look at that map, you want to see all of the cars kind of peppered around the map. You don't want to have all of your cars in the prestige pricing area, because that doesn't give you any sort of broad market saturation, and that's certainly not where BMW and Mercedes and these automakers are going. They definitely have a pretty wide pricing schema. So that's kind of what I think you'll add to that that element of the discussion, which is A, who are they? B, what do they expect out of this line of cars? Like, what do they expect in terms of pricing, and what are they willing to pay? Mm-hmm. Oh God!
You didn't know that there was going to be a test, huh?
I did. Torn asunder. So anyway, that'll add to that, then another variable to that discussion. But the short answer to the question is yes, we need to know who your target is, because that will directly influence how you communicate with them in week 4 and 5. Because the messaging program that you create, the actual, I mean, what most people think of as marketing, right? That's the messaging stuff. That's like, where are you going to put your ads? What are the ads going to look like? How are you going to reach these people? If you know who they are at that level of intimate kind of detail, you know the kinds of messages that they will respond to.
So I
Charity's
kind of
here.
I kind of felt like with with that being our first discussion for week 2, and then the second discussion being actually targeting or figuring out what
the product is.
I felt like those should have been reversed, so we could be very, very specific on who our target market is by the end of this week. But I must admit I haven't looked at week 3.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It all builds, and believe me, I am not concerned about that. But all of these are iterative sort of drafts. You know, I mean, this is all a draft toward the final. So, you know, being able to sit back and look at, you know, and paint that early kind of word picture about, because the word picture that you painted, just like the SWOT, that was really for the company, right? I mean, what you were doing was you hadn't locked into your product yet, so you were just trying to get a better picture of who is this target market, who is the target demographic that Mercedes has. You may have in the back of your mind, yeah, you know, I think we're moving toward this electric car. But really the assignment was, you know, let's look at the company, and now you've locked on a product, and we get to drill down and refine. So that's the intention of it. That's why it is structured the way it is, because I want you to focus on the company first, the product second. So, I think week 3 will continue to refine that and give you an opportunity to look at. Now that you know what the product is and which line it is in, you will be able to kind of really go back and refine. Now, these target segment, you know, our primary, secondary, tertiary targets. Now we need to look at them from the perspective of the specific automobile.
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry I'm late.
Totally okay.
Hi, Jerry.
What else is on your mind?
I've been sick lately. I've been under the weather.
Are you feeling better? Are you feeling better
Can
now?
everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. I have a hard cough though. So I didn't get to get a lot of the information. Plus, I borrowed my sister's computer because my internet guy who came this morning decided that he stayed out all night. He wouldn't be able to get the job done. So, by any means,
How
I
do
had
you
to go
expect him to
grab
do
a
that when he's
computer.
all hungover?
Right.
Poor
But he
thing.
played music in New Orleans last night. So.
Oh. Well, I'll let the team kind of fill you in on all this stuff. But if you have any specific questions around the direction for this week or how you're feeling about the product, you guys have locked in on the product. I think the rationale behind the size and the mileage that I was concerned about last week. I think you zeroed that in, and now we're ready to take on kind of how this fits specifically in the competitive market, and that's coming this week. So I feel like things are moving in a good direction. How about you guys? Feeling all right?
Oh man, I love our product. I want that product.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, so like I guess I have a question about the specifics. So I mean, and by specifics I mean the product. So it seems to me like we're changing the design of the product. We're updating it. We're doing something that doesn't exist but could exist.
Yes.
Is within the realms of existing.
Right.
However, that leaves to be said that there's issues that need to be addressed as far as design issues, and one of the things that was brought up last week in our weekly meeting was actually after you left the discussion, Pete, was we visited further about the size, and I said I respectfully disagreed with what you said, and I kind of pitched my thing about the SUV, the mid-size SUV, and we went on, and so we talked about how to address some of the things that you brought up. And one of the things you brought up was, well, you can't really go camping, can you, with an electric SUV, or how would you address that? And one of the things was the paint. the paint that is actually in use. MIT, they developed this. They have
Solar paint.
well, the paint is actually there's solar paint. It actually collects electricity. And Lori brought it up on one of the concept vehicles in Mercedes. I did a lot more digging on it. I've been kind of up on it anyway because of my construction background. There's whole housing developments with this paint on it in Arizona, New Mexico, and MIT is there. I mean, there's people living in houses that have this paint on it, and it collects electricity. So these are the kind of things. At what point do we introduce these things? So I brought up the paint just because, like, this is an issue. When do we label? When do we put that onto the product, or should we be doing that now in the background so that we can bring it?
That is a prescient question, Thomas. What I posted, if anybody's had a chance to take a look at, the week 3 video is up, and in it specifically, the very first point I make is that the thing you should focus on, the big team objective that's happening in the background, is by the end of week 3, you better damn well be at feature lock, right? You need to be finished adding any new features that you're going to be marketing about. And that there is a balance that comes to that. I mean, that's just, with great power comes great responsibility. We have great power that we can just throw in features that are really awesome because we would want them there. But then we also have to be able to communicate about them in a way that demonstrates our ability to reach our target segment and focus. Now that you know the target segment and what their perception is, what is solar paint going to do to a car at this price? Would people, are you going to be giving it away at a car priced in this market? This is an innovative piece of invention. There are houses out there that have it on there, but is it something that will negatively affect your ability, the perception of your ability to price accurately in the market? Those are the things that you need to nail down this week. And by the end of this week, this time next week when we gather, assuming we gather, this car better be, for all intents and purposes, finished. So the advice that I would give you moving forward is to really, if you're familiar with zero-based budgeting, come up with a list of all of your top features that you really, blue sky features that you'd really like to add to this car now that you have the base product, right? It's an electric sports sort of crossover activity vehicle thing. Kind of what the mileage is that you're going to go for. What are the other the add-on features, the technology features, the power management features you want to add, and just figure out what that cut line is where you feel like, okay, we can market about the top 5 features. Anything below this, the car needs to be much more expensive. So the other thing I talk about in this, which is I think what should be a logical follow-on question, is pricing, because that's what we're doing this week. It's all about pricing logic and the pricing system, because there is so much that you don't know and so much that you can't know in this project. As outsiders, you don't work in the product design plant. You are literally blue skying features on this thing, right? And so I want you to make sure that you let go of some of the stress around that, but only some. I don't want to see a budget of what it's going to take to mass produce this car. We don't need that. That's not the purpose of our project. But I do need to understand the rationale about how you will have built the price of this car, how and why you will have set the price. So I need the underlying argument. I don't need the spreadsheet that supports it, because you won't have that. I just need to know how you're going to approach it. And so this week in Chapter 14 in particular, this is the pricing strategy chapter. And so you essentially get to model your pricing strategy for this car. That's what we want to learn about in this section of the plan. So I don't need to know how much the solar paint costs, but if you do decide to go in there, the pricing logic about incorporating something like a new invention like that would have to be built in somehow. Does that make sense? To answer your question, or am I rambling again?
No, that's exactly what I wanted to know, because I mean, to me, like I'm OCD or something. I don't know. Like all these things are rambling around in my head. How are we going to address this? How are we going to make this marketable? How are we going to develop this into something that's realistic? Because the thing that stuck with me from what I've learned from you so far, Pete, is that you want as a successful like Mark, you said to some, I don't remember when you said it. You said, I want to walk away thinking to myself, man, this should be on the street. And I actually want to do that. You seem kind of hesitant with our idea. So that drives me even more to want. I actually want to sell you a G-Class electric Mercedes, Pete, and I want you to sign up. I want you to be the first customer.
I'll tell you, you're on the right track.
I'll step in and say one word about that. Honestly, I don't want to sell it. I don't want to sell it to Pete. If our demographic, if our customer, our consumer really is going to be a younger generation, that's what we're going to hard sell against.
Oh, now you're just calling me old.
Don't get me wrong.
Well done. Well done.
You're not in there.
Specifically says
And as far as the solar paint goes, I mean, in my perception of having a base product to be able to put on the market, I mean, solar paint's a customization. That's something that comes later on. Those are bells and whistles. In my opinion, I want to throw bells and whistles on once that thing is on the lot, ready to go, and they say, hey, do you want this extra stuff? That costs an extra, however much money. I want a base model. I want it stripped down. I want the basics of what Mercedes usually has on top of what we have in these super-powered solar cells, or excuse me, not solar, but energy cells that we're getting from Tesla. So we have a great product right now. There's lots of other stuff that's bells and whistles on top of that, and I don't know if we really need that.
Corey, I mean, that's really the issue here, is how many bells and whistles. I mean, there is an institutional or a sort of intellectual weight of bells and whistles on the project, and at some point, again, I go back to that metaphor of putting a hat on a hat. You want to make sure that it's a good-looking hat, but don't make it weird.
I don't need 6 buckles on that hat.
right.
You only need so many buckles on your hat.
So this is the hard part of this week.
If I may interject.
What's that?
No, I was saying, if I may interject,
yes,
we could offer the solar paint on the AMG model.
Yeah. There you go.
I think Maybach would be a great candidate for solar paint.
Try
it on something that's floundering anyway.
My car base model is like $51,000, but with all of those bells and whistles that we're talking about, it easily drives it up to like the mid-60s.
Yeah.
So we definitely could offer the solar later on.
Yeah.
I think you have a lot of headroom, but just as a team, make sure you're approaching it with that sort of rational sensibility. That you don't want to go so far that by the time it comes to week 4 and 5, and you're actually thinking about how are we going to communicate this thing, that you can communicate simply. What is it that what are the messages that your target segments are going to respond to? What are the people that really love Mercedes that can afford this car? What are they going to respond to? And if you have too much stuff going on, it can get messy. You end up confusing noise for signal.
I completely agree. And Tom, so you brought up a good thing when it came to as far as you can't take that car camping, but we got to really look at who we're selling to. I'm not really going camping. I mean, a Mercedes-Benz, granted, it might be an SUV design. It's, in my opinion, more about looks here. It's not about taking that thing camping. I mean, Mercedes-Benz, that's a city car, in my opinion.
Well, I think that's really true. And I would say my concern last week, if it was that, oh my goodness, Pete said we didn't take this thing camping. We can't take this thing camping. That's not really the intent of my comment. So I want to make sure it's really clear that when you see this car, it matches your expectations of what you would want to be able to do with it. And so I think you're right, Corey, that probably people are not going to be looking at this and saying, man, that's a car I want to take in the mountains. Only 110 miles into the mountains before I have to turn around. But you see what I'm saying? Their expectation is going to be that they can do what they need to do with it. And if it was coming in, we were coming in at 115 miles max distance last week on this thing, that would be a communication challenge. That would be like the Mount Everest of communication challenges in this market.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Absolutely.
I agree. So go ahead.
I want to be sure that we, I know we're supposed to have a product, a solid product, be locked in by the end of this week, but I want to be sure that we don't get stuck in the product, because how important, our product's really important, but I don't want to forget that we're marketing this thing. We're not the product designers, right? We come up with it, but we have to market it instead.
Yes, and that's why this is kind of a thing that needs to happen in the background, because this is that old Zig Ziglar thing, you know, you got to squat before you can jump higher, but you don't want to get cooked in the squat. That's super important, and it's really easy this week. This is that muscle you have to really strengthen to find out what those core product features are and let go of everything else. Let go of it and make sure as a team you agree, because if you don't agree, then by the time we hit week 4 and you're going in and actually doing some more robust communication stuff, you're going to be communicating about different products. So it is just a muscle, and it's a very difficult muscle, particularly in a team, to actually do this, because you are absolutely right. That's a sanity check. If anybody ever feels like by Friday we're still talking about features, look at Jessica, because this is the sanity check. This is, have we gone too far? This is not an industrial design or an automotive design class. We have to be able to move to think about features in terms of what we can communicate and how effectively we can communicate them.
That helps me a little bit too, because I've been really worried. I'm looking at Team Coca-Cola, and they've got an inside guy, and they're like, they've got it all figured out exactly how they're going to put this product on their product on the market, and I'm like,
well, you know what? I'm just saying, grass is always greener, but you haven't been in a team meeting with those guys.
Okay.
I don't know.
Old Dwayne's got the weight of the world on his shoulders. Like, expectations are high, and let me tell you, he has about as much access to information as you guys do to Mercedes, right? I mean, it's a pretty isolated environment, particularly in the product they're choosing. So.
I was actually kind of worried that he might be getting in trouble at work, man. He's kind of sharing some pretty copyrighted things there, you know, like packaging and like.
Are you gonna start eating your packaging?
From corporate lawyers here before long.
I can. I'm really looking forward to coming back to our meeting next week and seeing you guys. Just, you know, I'm gonna eat some muffins and then eat the tin, and that's good stuff. I can't wait.
Oh, nice.
So, all right.
Want somebody I don't want them handling my food like that. If I'm a runner,
that was my question.
That guy just got back from the bathroom and he's gonna hand me a gel? Are you kidding me?
Like, there was a reason we started putting packaging on our food in the first place.
Exactly. I don't
right.
want somebody handing my gel cap.
What else? What else is on your mind before I dodge out of here? I'm
I have
monopolizing
one
your time.
question.
Charity,
Pete.
Yes.
Like I said, I have been under the weather, and I know how to do the concept of the perception map. But is there something that I can cut and paste and actually put that stuff in there? As far as the brands, like, I understand what I'm doing, but the actual map itself, is that something that I have to do through Excel, or is there a format that I can...
Any way you want to do it. I mean, I guess how did people do it, the original one? Derek, you put the first one together. What did you use?
I use Excel.
You use what?
Excel.
So, can you guys help Charity do that? And the reason that perception map is interesting is, you know, when you look at where your competitors are against two variables, and then you change those variables and watch how the competition shifts, it gives you a new insight. So that's the idea behind having each person go through and build a perception map, and with using different variables, and see if, when you look at them together, what you learn about how the competition stacks up. Now, a lot of this is you're going to get into a lot more detail of this week when you start looking at a specific line-by-line comparison with your competitors. So, but anyway, there you go.
Thank you.
That's all I've got.
I
Seriously.
didn't do a perception map either because I did the first post. Do I still need to do one? I can do one.
I would love to see one.
Okay.
I thought I was actually late because, like I said, I've been under the weather, so I'm like, I know I'm gonna get docked for not turning one in, but I've been horrible though.
Oh, please. Have you met me? I'm about like the most low-key guy you've ever met. Please, I'm
I
not
know
sweating any of
compared
this
to
stuff.
my last teacher, I've been doing a lot of
They're
bragging
all-
about you, Pete.
They're all jerks. They're all jerks. I love where you're going on this, you guys. So, what'd you say, Lori? I'm sorry, I missed you. I was talking.
I failed my last assignment in my last class, and I'm kind of freaking out a little bit.
Oh, I'm not by myself. Good.
Oh, that's no good. We don't want to go there. Okay, well, I'm going to get out of your hair and let you guys commiserate about past classes and figure out how you're going to move forward on this new one. And let me know if anything comes up out of this meeting. And if you have any questions, Thomas, to your point earlier, if you have any questions that come out of this meeting, please ping me on those. Don't wait a week. If you have specific questions that, you know, or you just want to register how much you disagree with me after this meeting, please reach out.
Well, I was completely aware of the fact that I was still on video, and I made sure I didn't go too far. But I didn't
go too far. Now I need to go back and listen to that.
I really wanted to push the SUV thing. You know, I mean, this is huge. Did you guys see what I posted about Pete? This is for you, actually. The thing I posted about SUVs have taken over the market from pickup trucks and cars, sedans, in America officially last year, 2014. So they
And
actually.
only 15% of them ever go off road.
Yeah, there's Corey's point. That's a city car.
Yeah.
Oh, he hasn't even been here. He left.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
I mean,
I'm back.
I'd probably take my old off road more than most people take their full size trucks off road. I mean, a lot of people don't do that. So I mean, this is a club car, right? They get in the club.
That's right.
We want people to get in the club and have 6 people in there with them. So.
All right. It's all good. All right, you guys. Look forward to it next round.
Thanks, Pete. Appreciate it.
See you guys. My pleasure. Bye-bye.
All right. Hey, guys.
Hello.
I think Pete did a great job at addressing some of our concerns. Do any of you guys have any other stuff you want to talk about, or going into week 3?
I don't. I actually get kind of short-winded when I talk right now, but I'm gonna just listen.
All right. Actually,
You're exceptionally good at listening, Charity.
Thank you.
So I saw his week 2 video, and Pete talks about splitting up the. Let me look at my notes here.
You leaving class?
Yeah, like splitting up the lines. Like for this week's CQ, one of us will talk about E class, one will get C class, things like that. I thought maybe we should choose who's going to take what at this meeting.
What's that?
So sorry, that was confusing. So his Pete's example for the DQ this week was he used Apple, and he said if say we were the Apple team, someone takes iPod, someone takes iPad, and we talk about the DQ from the point of view of that item and how it fits in with the rest of the company's items. So for our week, our DQ, we're going to have to come up with, decide who's going to talk about which product line of Mercedes.
Yeah.
Should we pick the same ones that we did for the demographic?
Oh, yeah.
Keep it simple, will that work?
I think it'll work mostly. I think I did one from the C class, and I think someone else might have too. But we could just, once everybody's seen the video, maybe we could do a chat tomorrow. I mean, not a chat, a post tomorrow, and have people like sign up for the one that they want to do. Would that work?
Either way.
Will there be no shortage of opinions and fun and laughter?
I think after we are able to view it, to start a new chat inside of the Mecedes-Benz one that we got started there. And I'm going to leave that up to you, Jessica, since you've come up with a great idea and you're already ahead of us. So just, pop that open, have the idea out there. I'm not sure if everyone... I looked a little confused when you were saying things, and everyone else looked a little confused to me too. So maybe there'll be a little bit more clarity in that idea when you write it up there. We can all respond back to that and
Definitely. And then
probably have it solid.
you know what I was trying to so good.
Have any of you guys went through the marketing plan outline, the thing you said, well, this is going to be a good baseline, but we'll change or whatever. I mean, it's like, it starts at 1 and it goes through like 5, I guess like 8 or 9 steps, all the way through like budget and finance, implementation and references. It's kind of like an outline for the end project. Have you guys looked at that?
I have not had a chance to look at that yet.
I've glanced at it.
Like that's the marketing outline.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
this
is that
thing
on
is
the syllabus? Is that right?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Was that on the syllabus?
Yeah.
Okay. I have looked at the syllabus, but I don't think I've looked at.
Week 1 stuff.
Let me bring it up here real quick.
It was in the resources. Well, my only point is this. So it says the marketing mix, right? And it says, you know, the product, the service, the price, the place, the promotion, the key messages, and you know, down through the implementation controls, the budget and financial projections. It has several different, you know, steps, and then it has bullet points and then bullets on bullets. And it's kind of a, I don't know, it's like 4 pages, right? This is like the huge, this hangs, I take a cue from Misty, my wife. We hang the stuff up on our second tier here, and this is our syllabus and stuff hang up. This thing's a huge source of my stress. There's a lot of steps to this thing that it doesn't seem like we're going to be able to meet in 5 weeks. Like we're just barely past like the first or second or third. And so, Derek, when you came up with dividing things up, it occurred to me that maybe we should divide things up according to this. And that way we can all be working on something in the background, maybe. You know, I don't know. Like, I see like 3 or 4 or 5 sleepless nights coming if we wait to do this according to the class schedule. I don't know. It's maybe you guys think different. If you can back me down, please do, because this thing's stressing me the hell out.
It kind of seems like we're going through this. I mean, we're just going through these as the week go along.
Yeah, I mean, everything is really sectioned off throughout the week so far, and I completely understand your stress when it comes to this, Thomas, but I want you to know that we are all very logical. We have written a lot of papers, all of us, and we've all had bachelor's degrees. We're all behind you, so don't feel like it's all going to come down to you. We're all here for you.
Yeah.
Honestly, myself, I've written 3 of these before, so I could write this in my sleep, and just putting that out there. So if there's any extra stuff that comes on, I will take it on for us. I will make sure it happens. As long as I get credit, I'm just saying. You know.
I mean, that's what you do every day, right? Like you're a marketer, right? I mean, like this is your strong point, and I don't think it's going to end on me. It's not like that. I just want to make sure to produce something really cool. You know, I mean,
Absolutely. I
want something that's going to be just for me. I want our team to produce something that's better than the other 2 teams.
Absolutely.
That's just my competitive edge, and that's just me saying, listen, I want to make the naysayers yay-sayers, and I want everybody to walk away going, man, I want this vehicle. You know, I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you already have me sold, Tom, as drivers, so you have me. I would buy our product.
Okay, well, that's all I have. That was just my thing, right? I'm just concerned about that. But that's cool.
I hate to chat and run on you guys, but I got a couple of things I got to take care of. So thank you, and I will chat with you all soon.
Okay, see you later, Corey.
So it looks like Sundays are kind of our days to meet.
Okay.
And
I agree.
next Sunday, I have a work conference, and I'm going to be traveling most of the day. So I'm hoping that if we are planning for a Sunday meeting, it's going to be later in the evening, and I know that's really hard for you, Charity. I'm hoping that I'm going to be in my hotel room by 6 o'clock and be able to for me to be able to meet at our normal time, but I might be coming in late if our meeting time is at 6.
Since you're telling me a week ahead, I'll take a nap earlier in the day like I did today, so that's fine.
Okay.
As long as I know ahead of time, because I mean I'm on high school schedule, so I basically have to get in where I can fit in. So as long as you're telling me today, then I'll take a nap earlier that day. So that's cool.
So, you guys want to start talking just a little bit about the features? I don't want to talk too long because I mean dinner's ready almost, but yeah, about what features we're going to be looking at.
I got all kinds of ideas for features.
Remember, we got to keep them short.
Right. And we have to try and keep them feasible within a price point that's going to be reasonable for our target market. So, yeah.
I mean, we already have an edge because Mercedes-Benz is the oldest car maker. So it's not too many things that we have to add. You know, I mean, the electric car, that's maybe a few little bells and whistles to get the younger population moving, and that'll pretty much do it. I'm known to overthink things, so I just don't want to overthink it and put too much into it.
I personally think that the Mercedes interface, I was reading about it on the GLA. It's a safety interface, and I really think that we need to keep with the higher technology things, especially if we're going to be going for a younger target market. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I mean, I think Mercedes, and Charity, you mentioned this, Mercedes they have enough bells and whistles. I mean, I don't think we need to offer, and this is what made sense for what you said, Jessica, was I don't think we need to offer anything past an electric SUV Mercedes. Mm-hmm. And I think if we keep it that simple, it'll keep our job simpler. I think where we need to come up with tricks and really fancy thinking and maybe some innovative ideas is marketing this thing. Yeah. Because there is definitely a social stigma to electric vehicles. I'm a mechanic by trade. I'm a gearhead. I got oil running through my blood. And these things scare me. I mean, because this is a new technology. And this is the reason propane vehicles, people have tried this before. Mercedes has tried this before in the early 1900s. They actually had some race vehicles that were hybrids, and they won races with them. But they couldn't get it sold. They couldn't get it on the market because of the stigma behind an electric vehicle. You know, this is huge. We need to be more innovative there and maybe leave some of the options. Just sit at the curb. They have enough to embrace things. And they have everything. Like I don't. That's what we were talking about like last week. How do you put more options in a Mercedes? Mm-hmm. They have everything. You can't do anymore. I mean, I don't even know.
Right. Right, and that's what I was saying earlier. My car is base model. Anything extra, the solar paint, anything that usually goes toward AMG, Blue Tech, or anything else, you know, past the baseline. And those little small E350s can start at 56, but by the time you add in all of those bells and whistles, you'll be right at 85. I mean, the E63, which is just like my car, looks identical to my car. It's like $80,000, and I really don't see too much of a difference. But if we add too many bells and whistles, I don't think we'll make a huge profit off of it.
Yeah, I agree.
So what do you guys think a target price would be for our market?
A target what?
Price.
75.
Is it college graduates or just the youth? I mean, like, what's the ages again?
So that's my whole thing. Is I think we need to be way more specific with our target market, and you know, kind of think we need to be doing this segment thing with our exact target market. And we have to- I'm sure Godzilla again.
About like 20 to 25-year-olds, but
I'm sorry, this guy couldn't hear you.
sorry, what?
Well, so we said, I say 75, but I mean, that was just, that was something that got lost in the history, right? But,
That was perfect.
yeah, so I just, that was just me being a smart ass, actually. So, I mean, there's no way we're going to sell this vehicle for $75,000.
So I'm thinking 40,000 is a good price for a Mercedes that can go 230 to 270 miles on one charge with the Mercedes technology in interface. I think 40,000 for a starting.
I would say in reality, 40 is actually kind of cheap.
Right.
But, I mean, this is a fictitious,
Yeah. You're right, it is cheap. And I was like, for negotiating, shooting low and thinking that we would need more. Yeah. But, for our target market, I think 40,000 is like right there, almost too much.
Yeah. Well, but we're not targeting the same people that would buy the B-class base model, which is the one that's already for sale, right? I mean, this is an everyday vehicle. This is the kind of vehicle that people are going to buy, that are going to buy the new Tesla S model, or the Tesla 3 model. I mean, it's 40,000 and under. It's still a Mercedes, and we want to target the people that are what? I mean, this is the hard part, right? I mean, these people that have more money. And so maybe we can't see that, and maybe that's one of the problems. None of us, has anybody here spent that kind of money?
So like every important thing in that sentence, I totally missed.
No, I heard half of it.
It was like, so here's the thing. Wow!
I don't know what that sound is, so it makes it really hard.
Uh-huh. Man.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you had some really great points.
There's people out there that pay $55,000 or $60,000 for a vehicle, and they're less than 35 years old. That's my point.
Okay.
Yes.
We might not be those people, but there's people out there like that. I don't know how old everybody is here, but like 35 and under, and $55,000.
So are you thinking that 50,000 is more feasible then?
Yes.
I think so too. I do.
50,000 is wonderful.
Good. I think that's too high for a car that normally starts at 33. That's a big jump between models.
Are you talking about the B-class?
No, like the GLA, which is our car's based off of, starts at 33.3.
What is
the electric? Would it make it more?
It would make it more, but I don't know about $17,000 more.
But the Tesla S is a $70,000 car.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm not saying it's not worth that much money. It's just, how do you tell somebody you can get the same thing for 33 versus paying $20,000 more for almost the same thing?
Hey, because ours has got 20s on it, man. Like, it's going to be nicer. I know. I mean, really, it's going to
Fully
be.
electric. You're not going to have to go to the gas station.
Well, I think, Derek, you're talking about the B class, right? The one that starts for 33?
The GLA.
starts at 33. The B class, I think, is like at 40.
Yeah.
So around 40 to 45, I think is more realistic. We can even maybe say the GLA can't fully fit with all the features. That's where our company's making a lot of their money is on the off-road.
I like 40.
We're gonna have a lot of people at that price, right? Like we're gonna at so say 47, 47.5, you know, 40, 46, something like that. And the thing is that what a lot of people don't know, and I mean I know this just because and you guys can. There's a number of vehicles that are sold at cost for the first 5 years until technology catches up to them. So sometimes auto manufacturers don't even expect to make money on a vehicle until like the second or maybe the third model year. You know, I mean, there's a lot of money in tooling up a factory to make a special vehicle. And so to give the vehicle away at $47,000 is not a big deal, I don't think.
Well, and I think actually also just like from a marketing standpoint, keeping it under the number of 50,000 would sound better. You know, like things are like $19.99 as opposed to $20. So doing like a 46.78 might really sound better.
Yeah.
47,999.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's what the realtor told me when she wanted to sell my house under what I wanted for it. Just like, let's just put 999 on it, and they'll never know the difference, and it happens just like that.
That's so true.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that gives me a better idea, you know, on, you know, because a 22-year-old probably isn't going to be buying a $47,000 vehicle, no matter how earth conscious they are. And no matter how much they think they want to go off-road in their electric vehicle. But a 27-year-old, maybe, you know, once they're a little more established.
Yeah. There might be the 18-year-olds that the parents get it for them for graduating.
They're very much parents.
Yeah. You know, got the high-paying job.
But if we're using hotels, if we're using hotels in our marketing, maybe we could market in the Hiltons, the Hamptons.
Oh.
Well, since you said that, Charity, is that something that everybody's on board with, the motel thing? I think that's a key issue, right? Motel and the college thing, like, how are we going to address those? Or are we trying to? Has that point not come yet?
Is that the car-to-go thing that we're talking about now?
Well, it's expanding the car-to-go.
I didn't really get to watch you guys' last video. I'm actually going to watch that tonight while I have my sister's computer. So I did hear a little. I heard briefly about the hotel thing or whatever. And I know Mercedes-Benz has a partnership with a lot of hotels, so I was actually impressed when you guys brought that up.
I think that would be a really good idea, but I think maybe we should take it next week, maybe. And I think this week is getting the product down and the pricing. Maybe it comes with how we market it. Coming up. I'm not sure, but.
I wrote to the discussion board post this week. It's a lot more price. We're talking about not really how we're going to market it.
Sorry, do you mind repeating that?
I think this week is more about price than how we're going to market. I think that is a conversation we can have a little bit later, but I do like that idea.
Yeah.
Sticking with the hotel, yeah. That's one that our target audience goes to when they travel.
Yeah, I think you're right. So you're saying that, yeah, this week is about pricing and things like that, but that you want to keep that idea.
Yeah.
I do too. I think it's good. And it goes with sort of the lifestyle, like, you know, high class, I guess we'll just say it, like a higher class people, like, being able to afford it and traveling, that kind of lifestyle, and staying in hotels. And I think that makes sense.
Lifestyle are.
A Google exec that's going from hotel to hotel, needing that car to when they're traveling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. When I've done research, I don't know if you guys went. I put a link up about the car to go thing, and these are strictly cedar cars that are either gas or all electric, and so it would be the car to go thing. It would be kind of changing the demographic of their company if we added like a luxury SUV. So.
Right, actually. Maybe we should pick one or the other.
That's what I'm coming at. Is like maybe the college thing or the car to go thing, but maybe let's go ahead and say it right now. Maybe neither one of them. Maybe we don't need to worry about that. That might just be complicating things too. Maybe.
The car to go thing, complicating things.
Yeah.
And I think.
Well, or the college thing, trying to, or like the motel thing or the car to go thing, either one or it might be complicating our project for us because how do you? It adds a lot of things to my mind that confuse me.
Because the other thing we don't want to forget is the charging stations. We're going to have to factor that into our marketing plan as well. So, I don't
what
though the charging stations, the superchargers. Yeah.
That makes the hotel idea kind of work out a little better because they have places for parking or the charging station, whereas car to go, usually there's parked on the street, wherever there were less spots left.
I heard some of that. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm sorry, Derek. It's so hard to understand what you're saying.
I can't understand him neither, and I'm just looking like, oh my God, I hope he repeats or somebody else reiterates so I can understand.
The charging station, as far to go, they're just parked on the street. So there'll literally be a charging station for them. For the hotel, there'll be a place for them to actually park the car and charge overnight.
I'm not sure if I heard you right. Are you connecting the charging station with the hotel ID or no?
Alright, say that again?
Yeah, for me, I just feel it's about
Chargers.
it's kind of
The hotel ID.
about what I do.
Alright, what was that?
I wasn't sure what you said, but I thought maybe were you connecting the supercharger with the hotel ID or no?
Right, just so they have a place to charge at night, whereas the car to go, the cars are parked on the street, just wherever the last person left it. Where are you going to charge it? You have to use the car to go thing. So I think the hotel is a little bit more, infrastructure-wise, a lot easier to pass off as an idea that could actually work out.
Yeah.
Well, and building off of that, that was one of the things that wasn't making is like, I don't know how your guys' minds work, but mine, like somehow back in the back, if things don't come together for me, then they start going through and through and through until they come together for me. And that's one of the things, Derek, that did not make sense to me about the call to go is what's the infrastructure for getting that battery part set? What's the infrastructure for maintaining that vehicle? And so, like, it actually made better sense to me to maybe go a different route to get the vehicles out there. Like, what is that noise? Oh my God.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm out. I think I've given up. I can't understand everything that's going on.
Neither can I.
I'm gonna have to go as well because my cough is horrible.
We can continue this on the phone.
I think chatting might just be better. Typing it up.
Okay. So do you guys want to
I
agree?
agree.
You want to move? Do you guys have anything else to talk about, or is it just?
I think we're good tonight. I mean, there's not a lot of features we want to add, so.
I'm feeling good. I think we've hashed out some things that were kind of bothering me, so.
Yeah.
Things make a lot more sense to me now too.
Good. I'm really glad.
Nice.
All right. Well, shall we just call it quits?
All right, we're good.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.